Looks like we're back.
Where did Kathan go?
He's back.
Yeah, sorry, I joined the wrong meeting. I came back here. I have a few Zoom links with me. Yeah, any more questions? And we were actually continuing the discussion. So what you were saying, Jeev, is that this is a known problem that we encountered recently, and so we're fixing that. It's most of the work has been done. There is one change that's yet to go out, but we are trying to wrap it up in this month's release. So 0.7.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yep. So yeah, after that, you should be able to, and then let us know if you find any bugs, but you should be able to.
Will do.
Any other questions? I think Lior had a question, but he's gone.
Man, thanks for picking on me.
I love your virtual background.
Question. I was a little curious about when in the example you showed for the dynamic tasks being yielded,
yeah,
and then appended to results. Was that going to run them all serially?
No, it's all run them in parallel.
Okay.
But see, the problem is because of the Python interface, it makes you feel that it's running right there, and then it's going to come the yield, right? You can come back and resume at that point. That's not what happens. This is the problem in the current interface, we think, right? It's an interface, according to me, should be self-documenting. It's not. In this case, what happens is we yield, we run, we just collect the yields, then this task completes, then we run all the yielded plan, right? It's essentially what you're doing is giving us a plan. Like, I want to run this 10,000 times, this 5,000 times, this 2,000 times, not 10,000. We have a limitation of 5,000 in total on Kubernetes. So we'll take that plan and we'll execute it. And it can be as many as you want. And they run in parallel, but they are not as lightweight, right? They are running containers. So they're not like running one multi-process in Python. That's the other confusion that some users have.
Not as lightweight as using a backend extension?
No,
or not as lightweight as?
They are not as lightweight as running a Python thread.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, or a multi-process, right, in Python. Because it's actually spawning a new container. Yeah. Anybody else?
I had one quick question on sensor tasks. So I wanted to make sure that I was understanding this correctly. If there is one task that depends on a particular file from a previous task being in a Google storage bucket, is that like an application of sensor tasks, or is that not something that you use them for?
If one task is depending on a file from a previous task within the same workflow, that's all automatically done. This is for cases in which you run another workflow, which is even owned actually by a different team maybe, and that's writing a file somewhere and you want to use it.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually I personally am not a big fan of sensor. What I think this needs to be done is using some concept like what we've been saying is called reactive workflows, but we don't have that today. So it's coming, hopefully.
Ethan has been drugged kicking and screaming into doing sensor tasks.
Yeah.
Like 2 years. It was not. There are, I mean, it's mainly useful for things when you don't control part of the data flow of the application, which is completely outside of the control of your thing, and you have to do, you have to wait for an email to show up or something like that. The problem obviously is it makes it repeatable. Repeatability is sort of gone, and deterministic outcome of that workflow is gone. So it's sort of it's a dangerous gun, and people shoot themselves with it all the time, but there are legitimate tasks where it's the only thing that you can do. So we did add it, but it was not after without a fight.
Yeah.
Thanks for the presentation. I'm one of the engineers at Freenome, and it's the first time joining, and I'm glad I did.
Awesome.
I see-
Oh
I
yeah,
see
this was
Cool. Nice to see you.
great to have more freenome representation here. That's awesome. Yeah, we need to get more of the other people showing here. I don't know why. Like Intuit is not showing up here today. Yeah. Anyways,
Right.
cool. That's it. If nobody has any more questions.
One more.
Oh yeah, go for
So
it.
you said that if I want to do a resource safety, I need a backend plugin, right?
Resource safety. You mean like
a
cleanup?
Like finally. But also workflows, they have a finalizer or some kind of finalizer.
There is a very good
So
question.
can I simulate it with a sub workflow?
You can. But you'll have to be careful. Like you'll have to basically know what you launched. I actually don't know if you would know what you launched. Like if you do it deterministically, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Right? That's it's a short answer, but it's a little tricky.
Yeah. Because that's kind of what I wanted to do. Okay.
Yeah. Is it for data flow or what kind of job service?
Yeah, to make some workflow that would launch it, and this workflow have a job ID as like some deterministic way to know the job identifier as an input.
Yeah. Oh, that if you do it that way, that's the right way to do it. Like create the job ID ahead of time and then pass it to your finalizer, because then you have to clean it up. Yep, that should work.
And then if I retry, would finalizer retry as well?
Would finalizer retry? Yes. There is no workflow level retry, right?
Okay.
So what would happen is the node would retry 3 times. And then once it fails, it will go to the finalizer. It's like a try-catch semantic. Within the try block, you're doing the retries. And let's say if your retry equal to 3, then you get a failure, then you say accept. And then that actually just goes to the finalizer.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, in Python, we don't actually have the workflow finalizer implemented. I guess in Java, did you implement it already?
No, but we can, because it would be a nice feature to have, because then we can implement finalizers without writing a backend plugin.
Yep. That's absolutely the case. That's awesome. Yeah, but if so, Gleb, correct me if I'm wrong, but is there a Kubernetes operator available for Dataflow and BigQuery?
If you use, it's called Cloud Config Connector or Kubernetes Config Connector. I think there is a new name for it right now, but it's basically a set of operators that Google implemented. You need a Kubernetes cluster, like a JKE cluster, to use it. And there are many operators out of the box, including Dataflow job and BigQuery query. With BigQuery query, I'm not sure. But Dataflow job for sure exists. And also some other kinds of, if for some reason you want to create a GCS bucket or other things, you can do it as well.
Yeah, I think I see AWS also going in that direction. So yeah, that makes it very easy to add those plugins. Cool. Anybody else? All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks a lot, everybody. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. All right.
Thanks. Is this meeting every 2 weeks? Is that it?
It's every 2 weeks.
Okay, got it. You
should have gotten an invite to your on your calendar unless you might have.
I did get this event. I can check to see if I have the next.
Should be. I tried to make it a recurring event that had an invitation to everybody who was in users, so it should appear on your calendar every 2 weeks from now.
Yes, it does appear.
Clearly, I've been challenged with the permissions of Google Groups, so if it's not working as you expected, feel free to let me know and I'll fix it.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, George. Appreciate it. Thanks all.
Thanks, everybody. All right. Have a good Tuesday.
See ya.